Yeah. For those of y'all who don't know, if I start off a video and I just say yeah, that's because I'm gonna be very serious and might be a potential rant. I don't. We'll see. We'll see. Right. Just like Alan Roger Curry will start off and just look at you. I'm gonna start off with yeah. So just so y'all know in the future, whenever I do that, yeah. Once again, we have to hear about toxic black masculinity. Right? Man, that's man, I was gonna leave Issa and them alone this summer. I was. Seriously, I was. I know people were expecting, some reviews of the show, but I said, nah, I'm just gonna watch it. I let other people review it, unless they just do something egregious that I just have to speak to. The show ain't even started yet, and we got to deal with this. And I was still going to leave it alone because supposedly they were going to focus on toxic black masculinity. And I was just like, I was like, really? And I still was going to leave it alone. I was like, man, what we had to expect from that handsome fella, Issa? Seriously, I mean, damn. All right. Fine. I mean, if we're going to be real, the brothers didn't come out looking that great on the show any damn way, okay? So, I wasn't expecting much. Plus, the actor that played Lawrence, he said he hadn't filmed any scenes. So, I was just like, yeah, whatever. Well, we'll let them do their little funky thing. I'll probably tune in, but, having a pen and paper out and trying to break it down, I wasn't going to. Then I get this. And then I had a couple people hit me up. They were hitting me up with the articles from different places. I was just like, man, let me say something, because I know people waiting for me to say something, right? I'm going to tell you what. Here's the problem. Not so much with Issa Rae and what she's doing. Because first of all, we have to be, as men, black men, got to be realistic. Outside the sports arena, you're not going to see like really a positive depiction of black men, right? Only way this is going to happen is if we do the show, right? If we do it, right? We finance it and everything, and then find a cable network that's bold enough to say, you know what, we this got positive black men in it. We'll do it. So you're going to need all of that to happen first, right? But in this case, HBO, something like that, outside of, like I said, outside of sports or something sports related. So, I still didn't expect much. But see, brought up this issue, toxic black masculinity. And y'all know I had that infamous rant last time when we heard about it, right? Because it's funny. It's only toxic, really, when a woman's not getting her way with a man. Or she dealing with a man she knew to be a knucklehead anyway. And I've done about 1,000 videos and stuff talking about, maybe women should just stop messing with those type of men. Right? Maybe, that's what I say men should do with toxic females. That's the best way. But see, we're going to get this on here. So once again, is another subliminal assault against brothers, right? And people will say, well, if it don't apply, all that, say stop. This is about propaganda. Don't make me break out the book on propaganda, okay? So we got to pay attention to all of this stuff. We got to pay attention. But see, I'm going to tell you what. Here's the issue I got with toxic masculinity. Oh, and I got notes. Yeah, I know. I just be doing stuff off the top of my head, but I'm like, damn, I got Rom writing some shit down. But here's the thing about it, right? It's interesting. I'm going to give a shout out to Dr. Hassan Johnson, because he shared a link on his Facebook page about these brothers. I don't know where it was, but it was a story about some brothers. They were driving around with this 3-year-old girl who got lost. She was where she wasn't supposed to be, and they knew this. So they got the girl, And they got on Facebook Live and say, hey, does somebody know where this little girl is? And they were just driving around and everything, right? And ironically, these are the guys that some people would label as Pookie and Ray Ray. They were driving around and it was like, hey, we got to find this little girl's family. You know, they made sure they ain't touch her. They got on Facebook Live and were asking around. And I read something where when they did find the mother, they had to prevent the mother from beating the kid's ass. And it was just like, wait a minute. But we hear about toxic black masculinity all the time. And then I think about a couple other things. And you of course you don't see this on mainstream media. You guys see this on your Instagram feed, Facebook feed, or whatever. I remember this like one little black kid would check on an elderly neighbor consistent like 4 or 5 times a day just to make sure she kept her eyes open. But we talk about toxic black masculinity. Or you talk about, there was another story about these young black men who would go around and cutting their elderly neighbors' yards for free. But you always hear about it, right? And see, I'm going to tell you what. 2 things with that. If you're going to talk about the negative, you got to balance it out with the positive. And see, you get too many people, especially some bitter-ass females, acting like, oh, well, these guys are just toxic. And I'm going to tell you what. A lot of women just call a black man toxic if he just stands up as a righteous black man and call them out on their stank-ass behavior. See, that's the problem with it. See, what people are calling toxic, they ain't calling some of this other stuff toxic, right? Some of these women ain't calling like that D-boy toxic who's selling drugs, killing his own people. Shoot, they trying to get a cut of his money, but I don't hear about that. Or, some of these dudes who actually physically beating the shit out their women, and the women go back to them, but they ain't calling that toxic. But a lot of times, if a dude like call him out on some stuff and try to stand up as a man and be righteous about something, oh, that's toxic. Or no, you know what? That's patriarchal. That's toxic. If a man stands up and do what a man's supposed to do, oh, he being toxic. Because think about it. They don't call the D-boy toxic or the dude trying to rape the goddamn daughter toxic. Damn, you notice that? But if a dude stand up and say, hey, you know what, as a man, I'm supposed to do this and that. I'm supposed to provide. I'm supposed to protect. It was like some bullshit. I remember I think I talked about this somewhere. I was at a retreat or something. And a woman had problems. She didn't use the word toxic. And it's like, she called the men in there some other terms. And it was like, wait a minute. All these men in here are talking about being right with women, but we're toxic. Have y'all noticed that, though? Have you noticed that? When a man stands up, but except when the woman wants him to be, stand up, when she wants him to spend money, when she wants him to protect, he ain't toxic then. So basically, any man that stands up as a man and does what any man around the world's supposed to do, oh, he gets called toxic. And let's be real with that. Let's be real with that. So we're going to talk about toxic masculinity. See, the problem is balance, though, because we don't get the stories, at least nationally, about these men doing right. Or these men working, they building up something. Like we always hear about black men ain't building, but yet we don't get the stories nationally about these brothers. Well, actually we do. I take that back. We do get them every now and then. But people conveniently ignore them, right? People conveniently ignore them. And see, that's it. That's the problem. That's what we're dealing with, right? But I'm going to say this. I will check out Issa Rae's bullshit this summer, right? I will. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna be calm. I ain't gonna have a pen and paper out necessarily. It'll be by me though. I'm gonna sit there and chill. And I say this to the men: it's time for if we're gonna hear about this toxic black masculinity, black men need to stand up and call people on it. And that's some of these dudes who trying to curry favor with women either. And call them out. Say, okay, what's toxic? Call it. Let's call it. and challenge them on it. Challenge them on stats, man. Challenge them with stats. Challenge them with facts. Look them in the goddamn eye. Right? Challenge their logic. Every word. Every male and female that claims this shit, they better be right. If they're gonna call something toxic, they better show how it's exactly is dangerous. And then everybody who calls it, you ask them, okay, y'all going out here like talking trash about these D boys? Or these dudes in domestic violence? Okay, I can get with that. But the other shit? Nah. And then a challenge just like I gave before. Anybody got an issue with it? Okay, so you can't spot the dudes doing well? Because if you can't, that says something more about you than it does about the men. Seriously, I'm tired of hearing that. And I'm going to tell you what, people remember that rant I did? That's why, because you know what? I've had too many women and even a few men look at me to clean up their shit. You know, they have my patriarchal ass. Yes, I'm a patriarchal motherfucker. I'll just be clear about it. I was raised to be that way. And it was enforced primarily by the women in my family. Not even the men. The women were like, nah, you gotta handle this. They expected it. So, you know, I always feel some type of way because it's like you talk about like toxic masculinity, which a lot of times is just a man, being patriarchal and all of that, right? It's like, oh, it's a bad thing. Yeah, until you hear that sound. Until you hear that sound. This is a personal thing with me. Until you hear that sound and you need somebody to handle some shit. Until you need him to stand up and be a man. Until somebody disrespect you. This for some of the women calling that shit. Or, you know, when you want that man to spend some money on you or to help you out of a situation, all of a sudden he alright then. But if he ain't catering to some little girl needs or something, it's toxic. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit calmer for this. So, but yeah, no, I'm going to be there. And I just say all content creators, everybody, whatever beefs y'all got with each other, if that shit ain't handled a certain way, I'm going to see how she do it. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to see how she do it in the context and everything. All right? I'm going to see that. But if something rub me the wrong way, I say we just go full tilt hard on it. Nah, we don't let this pass because I'm going to tell you what. If brothers are silent on this, especially the righteous brothers out here are silent on stuff like this, what you gonna get next is gonna be 20 times worse. And then if we silent on that, 20 times worse. All of a sudden we walking around with numbers on our arms and stuff. I'm a student of history. If you want to get rid of someone, you want to deal with a certain group of people, you demonize them first. You demonize them, and black men have been demonized for centuries here. So I'll just let you know, put the call out, the notice. We will be watching. We'll be watching, and the response needs to be brutal. So that's all I got for today.